Okay, I am still factoring trinomials, but if you'll notice between the ones I was just doing and between these, I have a number in the front here where before I did not. So that's going to make a little bit of extra work. You can do a guess and check method, but I find most kids don't like that. But you are welcome to do it. 3 times 5, so I'm multiplying the leading coefficient and my constant, and I'm going to get a 15. Now, just like before, I'll list my factors of 15. So I'm going to get 1 and 15, and I'm going to get a 3 and a 5. And the sign pattern minus minus says you need to use a plus minus sign pattern, so that means different signs, so I'll take the difference between my factors. 15 minus 1, I get 14, and 5 minus 3, I get a 2. If you look at my middle term, it's a 14, so okay, I want to use these guys. And I'm going to take my 3 terms and turn them into 4 terms by splitting this guy, the 14, into a 1 and a 15. So I'm going to write 3y squared. The first term just recopies. And then I'm going to have a 1y, which I'll just write y, and a 15y. And then the last term, minus 5, just recopies. Now, the plus and the minus have to go with these terms. The 15 is the bigger factor, so it's going to get the minus, the sign of the middle term. So you get the minus and you have to get the plus. If I had written the negative 15y here and the plus y here, that would have been fine. Now the rest of this we already learned to do the other day. So I have 4 terms with no GCF. I do my factoring by grouping process. So the rest of this is material we did the other day. That's my only new step. So the GCF here is a y, and I'm dividing it out. So this divided by this leaves me with a 3y. This divided by this leaves me with a 1. When I go to my second group, he starts with a negative, so I factor out a negative, and then the GCF of 5. And this divided by this, I'm going to get a positive 3y. Negative divided by negative, I'm going to get a positive. 5 divided by 5, I'm going to get a 1. Do you notice your parentheses match? 3y plus 1, 3y plus 1. So bring down that matching set. And then what's in front, the y minus 5, will make your second set. And again, you could say, well, could I write it as y minus 5 times 3y plus 1? Absolutely. And then remember always to FOIL to check your answer. All right, let's try another one. So I'm going to go, all right, 2 times 21, so I'm going to get a 42. And a plus minus would factor into a plus minus. So that means I'm looking for the difference between the factors that would give me a positive 1. So I'll start with my 1 and my 42, and then I'm going to go my 2 and my 21, and then my 3 and my 14, and then my 6 and my 7. So 42 minus 1, 21 minus 2, 14 minus 3, and the 7 minus 6. All right, that we got the one that I was looking for. So I'm going to recopy the first term, and I'm going to split that middle term into a 6x and a 7x. I'll worry about my signs in a minute. That could have been 7x, that could have been 6x. The order won't make anything go wrong. And recopy this guy. So I have to use different signs. The middle term is a plus, so the bigger number, the 7, gets the plus, and this gets the minus. And a really quick trick is, okay, negative 6 plus 7 gets me back to a positive 1. So I'm not changing the original problem. If you add your like terms together, you can't change from the original problem. Now, factoring out the GCF, I'm going to take out a 2x, and that's going to leave me x minus 3. Factoring out the GCF, x minus 3, I notice already those parentheses match. There's my x minus 3. And there's my 2x plus 7. And I could write it 2x plus 7 times x minus 3. And I would FOIL to check my answer, or I could graph and graph with the thick line choice to make sure that they're correct that way.